impressive couple of weeks with pretty much a V-shaped recovery so far on S&P ASX200. We're going to be looking at the index and how past similar situations has evolved in terms of S&P ASX200 moving upwards in V-shaped recovery, or we could potentially even test recent lows once again. Is uncertainty gone? The market's done with tariffs? And what are the following risks moving forward in May, June, and July, or pretty much towards the end of this financial year? We're also going to be covering a few stocks: Resolute Mining, RSG, Zip, CTT, CTI Limited, Tyro, Northern Star Resources, NST, then Linus, LYC, and Flycenter, FLT. This hasn't been scripted, so we're going to be just improvising in most of the stocks. I'm actually going to add another one here, Drone Shield, DRO. I know you love that. We've been trading Drone Shield in a very short period. I've been doing that myself, right? And most of the other stocks are stocks interested on behalf of our VIP members, and stocks that we have been trading, stocks that have been incredibly profitable for us and obviously deserved our attention. Let's have a look. My name is Les. I'm Chief Analyst of BG Trading Australia. Remember, this is not a financial advice. It's just us from BG Trading sharing with you how we apply BGS 20 strategies together with our VP members to chase 20 to 40% profit with very tight stop losses within 1 to 3 months. That's all about this channel. This is all about BG Trading. Obviously, sometimes we do chase longer trades. Trades that we've done with Northern Star, 94%. Evolution Mining, 65%. And many other stocks in the past that if you be following us long enough, you will know what we're talking about. We'll be looking at those stocks mostly from the technical aspect because that's what we are interested on this particular video. So technical analysis fully, and which ones are the ones that we are selling and locking profits. We've been doing that, and which ones we think is a buy, and if yes, where should we be looking at buying those stocks? Very important here. Let's start with the S&P and ASX200 right open here. As you can see, from February highs, we show S&P ASX200 falling about 16%, right? 16% pretty much. I would say 14%. This last 2% here was pretty much oversold. That was emotionally driven. But then pretty much a V-shaped recovery so far. Last video, I was expecting potentially, maybe, the market to test these lows again. I'm still skeptical. I still think we might test these lows again, depending on, the situation now is all about Trump tweets making huge impact on the stock market, right? I think, even though this is still a threat, I honestly think the market's done with this, with tariffs. As I said in the last video, market's done with tariffs. Now we'll be looking at inflation like CPI coming up this week. And I'm talking about US CPI, right? And what's going to be Fed's next move in early May? So with Fed cut rates, because initially the market's pricing for a Fed cutting 50 basis points, and then Powell came and said that they wouldn't be cutting straight away. They would be waiting for more data. But then Trump started putting a lot of pressure on the Fed, and then maybe the market now is pricing potential cut again to be as early as May. So situation is still very indecisive here, but we have to take advantage one way or another. As I said in my last video, I wouldn't be shorting the market, even though we have gone up substantially here to almost 12% on S&P ASX200. I wouldn't be shorting the market. Last few times that happened, we had some kind of a strong recovery like this. That was back in October 2022 here, right? We have this double bottom formation. So we had 11% recover. That was July 2022. 11% recover, right? And then we had another crash of 10%. And I'm going to exaggerate here. It's crash on the index. 10% is a crash for me. I'm going to call that crash. Anyway, so 10%, and that's because it was followed by another 10% down there, up there. And then 10% back testing the lows, right? And then we had this double bottom formation and 15% rally, right? 15% rally. Now we at 12% rally already. I start getting skeptical because there was a lot of volatility here as well. And look what happened just before this double bottom formation. I'm just going by here. Look what happened just before this double bottom formation here. We had, like, pretty much in January, we had this fall. Let's just measure what this fall looks like. Where is the tool? My favorite tool here to measure. So we have this fall here in January, about 10% on the index. Yes, that was a big fall pretty much. And then again, the market recovered. Another 10%. There was a lot of volatility there. Impressive volatility. Really good to trade the index itself, right? I remember that we did trade index that time. And then we had this huge fall as well, pretty similar to what we had with Trump's tariff. So if you look at this, the whole fall was about 15%, pretty much in line to this correction that we had in the last month. Yeah. So that was the more volatile period in the market until now. And then we had this, obviously volatility still continues, but always about 6-7% up and down. And then that's when the market took off here in November 2023. Then obviously market pricing, Fed start cutting rates, even RBA cutting rates, which took a little longer, but then we had 12% straight up rally. And then if you're looking through the whole year, then would it be about 20% gain in there. So there was that's pretty much the story. And then now what we have here, trying to sort of using past data to predict what could happen in the next few weeks, a few months, right? So that's why I was expecting a potential test of the lower levels again. Everyone's getting overexcited. I just start getting skeptical, uneasy about this whole situation. And as I said in the last video, be locking every single position that reaches our target. Don't want to make around losing profit in this very high volatility period. No. Yeah, the next level here around 8,350. So then looks like we're testing this level right now, 8,070 points. And then if it breaks through, then could go to 8,370, 8,400. And then look, I would expect a correction back again, you know, especially because those tariffs are coming back in 65 days now. So Trump gave 90 days exemption, you know. So you just gotta be careful, because we gotta look what are the key macroeconomic metrics, economic metrics that we have to be looking at. And once again, CPI on a regular basis, quarter CPI and monthly CPI in US, and then obviously what's going to be the Fed next move. So you have to check what's going to be the Fed next move, because markets price Fed's cutting rates, and then after prices another hold. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen now. Nobody really knows what's going to happen now. But one thing we know, we can take advantage still by buying high quality stocks, right? And I'm not even talking small and mid-sized caps. There are a lot of high quality large caps trading at technically discounted price. And remember, according to BGS 20 strategy, that's why we want to be buying the stocks at high quality stocks at technically discounted price. Companies, profitable companies at technically discounted price. Like if you're going to be buying a property, like real estate in Sydney, for example, median house price I think is about 1.3 mil, right? So you're buying a property for 850. Does it sound, I mean, would you think twice? Yeah, so we can do the same with stocks, right? Obviously, you have to do your due diligence as long as the property is in a good location and generating good income, rental income. Same with stocks, right? So if it's very cheap, why wouldn't go for? You know, that only happens in the crisis. That's why we rather invest long-term in real estate. But on the stock market, it's pretty much the same, but you have to just be careful with like short-term volatility. But if you pick the right stocks at technically discounted price, so you're most likely going to make money, because it's not hard. All you need to do is just buy low and sell high. That's pretty much it, right? And when you buy the stock, the problem with most of people, they buy the stocks low, and they try pick the bottom. But if you have open mind, you buying stock that's offering from a company that is offering remarkable fundamental value at the current levels. Don't worry about the bottom, right? Same with property. Like you're not gonna sell next week or in 3 weeks. You're gonna wait a little bit, and when things turn around, then you sell. 20, 40, 50% profit sometimes. Many names. Some of the names that we're going to be looking into this video, they are classic examples. I'm sorry to say that, but I think I'm going to split this video in two. It's going to be very, very long, okay? So I just changed my mind. I'm going to be actually covering Resolute Mining, Zip, Citai Limited, Tyro, Northern Star, Linus, Fly Center, and Drone Shield in the next video, okay? Which I'm going to be released today anyway, so don't worry about it. See you soon.